I'm sitting here today with Jacob, and we're going to talk about looking for heroes. So tell me, how did this company get started?
My dad opened it in 1989. He was doing flea markets beforehand. He was selling comics, records, a little bit of everything, kind of whatever he could find. Eventually, it got to a point where my sister was born. My mom and dad were living in an apartment. Not much room in there for kids and
Right.
storage and everything like that. So it was kind of like get a brick and mortar store open. He did that. We were actually 3 doors down from our current location, but got the store open. It was September 5th of 1989, and been going strong ever since.
So when did you take over?
I've been in here pretty well all my life. I've been, worked for when I was 10 years old for my allowance. Pretty well started full time right after high school. So I'd say probably about 5 years ago, I was in control of doing stuff, and I still don't do everything in here, but it's
Right.
in here full time and doing a lot of stuff.
Okay, nice. Did you have any sale experience before you started here?
So no, this has pretty well been my only job. I've tried other stuff like co-ops and that kind of thing, but everything kind of leads me back to this.
So you love what you do?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
that's important.
I get to talk about Batman and hockey all day, so it's definitely not a terrible time.
So would you say that this is your dream job?
Yeah, I was luckily born into it, and it's one of those things where I've tried other stuff, and it just everything brings me back to here. I love working in here. The customers are probably one of the best part of it, where you get the regulars. You kind of have that barbershop effect where people come in, they kind of tell you their life and what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases we're the social event for the week, and it's we'll have guys come in and they want to talk half hour about what's going on in the world, in the industry and stuff like that, and where better to do that than the comic shop. So
Yeah.
So who's your favorite superhero?
if I'm going DC, I go Batman. If Marvel, Punisher.
Yeah.
Those are my two number ones.
Don't
but-
always hear Punisher. You hear Batman often.
Yeah, Batman's definitely a number one,
Yes.
pretty well across the board. So
Who's your favorite female villain for DC? Who would you say?
I would probably lean towards Poison Ivy. I do like her character. I don't know if you can, like, Catwoman is definitely up there, but I don't know if you'd classify her as a villain.
Okay.
She kind of is and isn't, but I would probably lean towards Poison Ivy as my personal favorite. I do like Harley Quinn, but I think Poison Ivy hits a little harder for me. So
Okay, why?
I'd always look just like the character and her ability to just kind of like basically captivate Batman.
Yeah.
It's like when he becomes completely useless over love, it's always kind of entertaining.
Because
And-
he's such a playboy.
Yeah, and it's just kind of to watch him just go into like a puddle of mush over this, and just
Right.
because she can basically poison him.
Because
And
there is romance with Catwoman, but it's not always like he's not always captivated. By
Yeah,
her
it's-
in the same manner as he is with Poison Ivy.
yeah,
Because
where
it's part of her like power, I guess, is to be able. She was a chemist. Right?
yeah, so she builds the aroma. And
Yeah.
what about you? You've got favorite villain?
Yes. My favorite for DC, Poison Ivy, but she's
Nice.
I don't know. She's kind of in between. Like,
Yeah.
She could be good sometimes. She could be bad. But I like her background story. Her origin
Oh, yeah.
story is pretty cool, and I think she needs her own movie.
I would like to see
A
her
Poison
make an
Ivy
appearance.
movie,
Yeah,
because her stories, they focus a lot on Harley Quinn, but I feel like Poison Ivy has a big part
Yeah.
with Harley Quinn after all that Joker stuff goes down.
yeah,
so.
and I definitely agree with you. I'd like to see them kind of make a push into, especially in the DC universe.
But it would have to be done right, like
Yeah.
sometimes DC will have like a PG-13 movie with a villain and it doesn't do.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't
great.
always hit well, but
Yeah, she's the
it's-
type. She needs a rated R, good DC film like Batman gets his.
yeah, I could see that being really good. It's one of those I would definitely love to see DC push a little bit more into some, like, especially the female characters, and with the new Batman movie out, I could see them growing into that very quickly and very well. So.
Oh, me too. So do you get a lot of females that come in to
A fair
shop
amount,
for
yeah.
comics?
Definitely. I'd say in the last 10 years, we've seen a big push on women coming into the shop,
Nice.
which is great to see. I think it's a lot. It has to do with comics have become more literature than just kind of the basement dwelling nerds
Right.
kind of scripture kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'd say, especially since movies became popular, it kind of opened up a lot of doors. Where I remember being just out of high school in here, and we'd have a group of college kids come in, and you'd have four people come in. One of them would be interested, and the other three would kind of be hesitant, and just kind of like, "Oh, you're into this stuff." And now you'll see 4 college kids come in, and if one of them's not into it, they're like, "What's wrong with you?"
Right.
So you're definitely seeing a lot. People are way more open to checking it out, whereas back in the day it was just kind of like a hidden thing. You didn't really talk about it much. Whereas now you'll have people are like, "I know you from the store."
Yep. I know when I take some of my guy friends into the comic book stores too, and the comic book clerks usually assume that it's the guy that's looking for the book, and then when I start talking, they're like, "What's wrong with you, man? She knows way more than you do. We're here for me." So, yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something that I do enjoy seeing. Like, it's one of those things where, especially in the shop, I always try and strive for, if you're 4 years old or, 85, come in and I'll try and find you something that you can enjoy. So.
Well, one of the reasons I've always liked comics is because I like that it's not just male dominant. Like, yeah, maybe more of the male characters are more popular, but that's only based off your preference, right? Yeah. So it's like, they have, like, so many amazing female strong lead characters, and it's always been like that, and it's just whether you want to read it or not, right? So it's there. It's just
and it's definitely something where you can walk into a shop and we've got probably anywhere from 80 to 120 new issues every week, and if you can't find something that you like, then I don't think you're looking hard enough. Whereas you can, if you're looking at Marvel, DC, if you're just looking for superheroes, you can find it. If you're looking for strong female role, strong male role, you'll find it in just Marvel and DC. And then when you jump over to the independent side, you can find pretty well everything you're looking for. If you're looking for horror, if you're looking for superheroes, if you're just looking for something mellow you want to read, or just something that's pure comedy, you can find it out there. So. It's like we have we're trying to sell week to week to subscriptions and stuff, and we do have guys that just want to pick up off the shelf.
Right.
Somebody come in because they heard a book's going to be hot, they want 10 copies of it. It's like, well, that's 9 guys that aren't going to get it to read it, and if it's like a number 7 or something, do they come and pick up number 8, number 9? So it's one of those challenges of the business. But
do you allow them to buy that many?
Not usually, no. Like, if it's a book where, we're trying to sell it week to week, we will limit sales on it, so.
Okay, because it's fair.
Yeah, and it sucks for, then the guys that come in every week, but they work and they come in on a Thursday night or whatever, they come in, they can't get the book, and then they got to buy it from that guy online for an extra $20. It's, it's, if you can cut that off, then you might as well, so.
Oh, that's nice.
But that's the nice thing about subscriptions, too, is if you ask us for a book and it comes out, then it's in the bin for you. If you order it, it's coming in for you. And if the book hits the shelf and it turns out it's $40, well, you ordered it and it's cover price. So, we're not going to try and put a book in a bin because we saw it online for $40, and that's what we could get it if you asked for it and you bought the other ones, and you deserve to get it at cover price. So, and that's just kind of something that my old man's always preached is like you want your customers to be happy, and if you sit around gouging them, they're not going to be here for long. So.
Yeah. Do you have any graded comics in here?
No, we don't really deal in graded stuff.
No?
More raw.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's one of those. It's something where grading is good if you want to. Like we like to sell readable books. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where we have sold graded books. I've got no issue with it myself. It's definitely the best thing you want to do if you're collecting the book and saving it. Mm-hmm. Most of the stuff we buy though is raw. And that's mostly so we can resell it. Graded books are great for if you're doing auctions and stuff like that, and that's what you want to do with that. But for us, we're kind of we want to just do it on a personal level. So sending it off to get graded and then not being able to flip through the pages, and that's one of the things that's almost better about rough books is you're not terribly afraid to kind of open the cover, and with a book where the cover's off or something, it's going to be damaged. So besides flakes coming off of it, as long as you're not treating it terribly, then it's going to be good. Like we've got old books in, and almost every one of them has a name written on the cover because that's what kids did. And you'll see these books where it's surprising to see a 70-year-old comic that's held together so long.
A name sorry, they write their name?
Oh yeah, yep. Just put it right under the cover.
Oh, this is mine. Oh.
And you'll see it even on there's a Captain America #1 going up for auction,
right? And
it's almost perfect. It's like a 9.4 grade. It's a beautiful book.
So I was in Manhattan once and I bought a graded comic. I only have one because I feel like I don't need them. but it's kind of cool to have one.
Oh yeah.
And I bought it because I learned that it was a bondage edition for Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And that's when I learned that bondage is one of her weaknesses, and I had no idea. And I'm like, whoever wrote this was some like sick pervert.
It comes across occasionally.
Right? The most wonderful,
where,
yeah, like a perfection of feminism, and then they have to like shackle her, right?
Yeah, and especially with some of those old books, you can really see the difference in society from then to now.
Right.
Where it's like you definitely couldn't produce some of the story arcs they were doing, but it's like anything, you watch old Disney films and that kind of thing, and you go like, oh, that's not very
inappropriate. Yeah, you could definitely, and it's funny because I have them on VHS, and then I have them on DVD, and they take out. You
can see the editing.
Yeah, they definitely edit it out, so there was something wrong there for sure. Have you guys ever changed the name of the store?
No, the name was brought up actually. I'd say about a few months ago. My old man was going through a bunch of stuff he got from Original Store, and the origin of the store name was my dad at the time asked everybody he knew, family, friends, just come up with names for stores. And my grandmother, my dad's mom, came up with just countless names. She was just coming up with names, and Looking for Heroes was one of them. And that's the one kind of everybody saw, like there was like a top 10 list. Everybody saw it and kind of was like, that's the one to go with. And personally, I think it's a great name for a shop.
I think it's great too. Yeah. And just like
I am biased, but
it's all right. You're allowed to be. You didn't come up with the name, so.
But yeah, I do love the name, and I like the story behind it too. So.
Has history. I guess the store now has history too, because it's been passed on.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I've been down here for a long time and seen downtown change a lot. So even for me, just kind of being in here regularly for 20 years now, it's downtown's a whole lot different.
Do you have a camera yourself?
I think I've got an old like camcorder kind of one. I had it like when I was back in high school.
You don't use it?
No.
Because you look like you know what you're doing.
What, do you need a cameraman for your adventures?
Always.